Kendrick Lamar now will be the halftime show performer at the Super Bowl. What will we hear/see in 5 months' time? Well, New Orleans is going to get a treat, and I know it's not no limit, nor cash money, nor young money, but still, this is worth your while. We'll have that and more. You're watching BS3 Presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson on Roku TV via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, and the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. You are listening to it live on the Rewise Radio Network, and it starts right now.
Come true.
Well, good morning, Shifter. It is Monday. Yes, it is Monday, September 9th, 2024. And welcome to BS3 Presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. I am Cole Johnson. And it is Monday. It's a reason to smile. That's right. Because we are going to start our day off right. Now, you just heard the announcement that happened yesterday that Kendrick Lamar is going to be the halftime show featured performer. And we'll see that this coming February in New Orleans. Also coming up on the program Spotlight section, we're going to touch on the Nixon pardon, the Richard Nixon pardon by Gerald Ford. 50 years ago, that happened. What is the impact today because of that pardon? And enlighten the way, since we are talking on pardons, in the Christian realm, why is it that we want to receive pardons, but we don't want to issue them? That will be enlightened away. And that all is for later. But for now, let's get you all started up, shall we? And here's what's taking place in the world today. Former U.S. President George W. Bush, of course, you know he's a Republican. He does not plan to make an endorsement or voice how he nor his wife, Laura Bush, the former First Lady, will vote in the upcoming presidential election in 2 months. The spokesman said, quote, "He retired from presidential politics many years ago," close quote. Wow, that's as harsh of a no comment as you could probably get. The announcement came a day after the Bush's vice president, Dick Cheney, he announced that he would cross party lines and endorse Kamala Harris, the current vice president for president. Well, to less heady matters. Future Hall of Famer Tom Brady. He has made his highly anticipated debut in the broadcasting booth, and the seven-time Super Bowl champion officially started his second act as Fox Sports lead color commentator alongside play-by-play partner Kevin Burkhardt this past Sunday, which ultimately overshadowed the Dallas Cowboys' butt-whooping of the Browns, 33-17. But like a rookie quarterback making his league debut, Brady's first official game in the booth seemed to come under review. Burkhardt saying to his new partner, quote, "You're a broadcaster. How about that?" Close quote. Brady responded with a smile and said, quote, "We're here. It's been quite a journey. I'm excited to be your partner." Close quote. I think many don't share in his sentiments, but truth be told, he wasn't that bad, actually. A Sacramento woman who was missing for 12 days, she was found late last week, severely dehydrated and emaciated, according to police. Deputies from the Nevada County Sheriff's Office found the 24-year-old woman on September 6th after she went missing August 26th from a mining claim camp in Nevada City in California, according to a press release from the sheriff's office. She was there, lived into a hospital for treatment, and her condition is unknown. Hmm. Orlando Bloom has a hunger for great art, no matter the cost. The star is gearing up for his upcoming sports thriller role in The Cut, and he opened up about his dramatic weight loss for the role while speaking at Variety's Toronto Film Festival studio. In said film, Bloom plays a retired boxer who undergoes an intense weight management program in order to return to the ring. Now, the actor said he, quote, basically tiered down the food over a 3-month period until just before filming. I dropped 52 pounds and I was about 185 pounds when I started, so I dropped quite a lot of weight. And I was very mentally challenged as well. You feed somebody tuna and cucumber long enough, ... Close quote. Millions of Americans receive their monthly utility bill and just assume it's high because it's been sweltering outside, but that's only part of the story. Customers are also paying for everything from your utility company's trade association fees to lobbying efforts to increase your rates to maybe even country club memberships, consumer advocates say. In the worst of instances, according to legal allegations, you're also paying bribes to politicians. Such items may add up to a few extra dollars per month, which doesn't seem like much on, say, a $150 bill. But that could be a hefty tab, though, especially as the amount people are behind on their utility bills has soared 8.4% to now 17.4 billion since December. And that's according to the National Energy Assistance Directors Association. And that guide states to help low income households with their energy needs. NAEDA, or NAEDA, predicts shutoffs to increase by 300,000 households to roughly 3.5 million by the end of the year. As far as breakfast toppings go, you may be hard-pressed to find many more popular choices than granola. People enjoy it on top yoga or smoothies or acai bowls over pancakes, waffles, French toast, and even as an ingredient in trail mix. Granola bars and baked goods such as muffins and fruit crisps and cookies are a choice. Says Jen Messer, a nutrition consultant and registered dietitian at Jen Master Nutrition, quote, some of granola's popularity is due to its long-lasting shelf life and that it's convenient and ready to eat, which it comes in handy when you are busy and need some quick energy. Granola also tastes delicious and has an irresistible crunch, close quote. But not all granola is created equal. And just because it tastes good and contains several nutritious ingredients, it doesn't mean that it's always good for you. But speaking of something that probably is good for you, Iceland is known for its Blue Lagoon. Its iconic turquoise water draws visitors from around the world, but travelers don't have to go that far for world-class hot springs. There's one in Colorado, Glenwood Springs, as a matter of fact. They have been soothing weary travelers for generations. And nestled along the Colorado River, the Rocky Mountain town offers 3 distinct hot spring experiences and even a taste of the Blue Lagoon without the threat of volcanoes. Glenwood Hot Springs Resort is home to the oldest and largest hot springs pool in Glenwood Springs. Says the resort pool manager Taylor Mays, quote, for an actual structured, filtered, and regularly circulated pool, we do have the world's largest of the hot spring pools, and that is at 1,078,000 gallons, close quote. The main pool dates back to 1888 and has remained popular throughout the years. The following sports update is brought to you by the Playmakers Blog Network. U.S. Open. On Saturday, Aryna Sabalenka, she defeated 6-seeded Jessica Pegula in straight sets. She claimed the U.S. Open title for the women. For the men, and that was her third and her first U.S. Open title. She has 2 Australian Open titles along with it to put on the mantle. On the men's side, top-seeded Jannik Sinner. He did his thing. He defeated Taylor Fritz in straight sets, and he won yesterday to claim his second Grand Slam this year. He bookends it. He won the Australian Open back in January. To soccer, the women's soccer. And Alex Morgan, she receives a standing ovation as she says goodbye for the final time at the 13th-minute mark in the San Diego Wave Football Club and North Carolina Courage games. The Cougars win 4-1 over Morgan's Wave Football Club team. To the NBA, the Denver Nuggets and star point guard Jamal Murray, they agreed to a 4-year, $208 million max extension. The new deal will keep the star guard in the Mile High for another 5 years and a total of $244 million. From the men's to the women's hardcourt, Angel Reese's sensational rookie year unfortunately ends in a premature fashion and in a brutal one. She suffered a wrist injury on Friday night against the Sparks. One playoff spot remains, but 3 teams battling. The aforementioned Reese's team, the Chicago Sky, they currently hold the 8th and final playoff spot. The Sky lead the Dream from Atlanta by 1 game, and the Washington Mystics by 2. There's 5 games remaining in the schedule. The Dream, according to ESPN, they have a 46% chance of advancing to the playoffs. The Sky has a 37% chance. The following weather update is brought to you by the Weather Channel. And over to the Pacific Northwest, it will be cloudy skies and 70 degrees in Seattle. It will be sunny skies and 84 degrees in Minneapolis. Sunny and 82 in Chicago. Sunny and 82 as well in St. Louis. Partly cloudy and 80 in Detroit. Over on the East Coast, it'll be mostly sunny and 77 in Boston. Mostly sunny and 79 in New York. Sunny and 79 in Washington. Down south, it will be partly cloudy skies and 88 in Miami. Sunny skies and 84 in Atlanta. Sunny and 85 in Memphis. Sun and thunderstorm mix with a high of 84 in New Orleans. Down to the southwest, it will be sunny and 89 in San Antonio. Sunny and 88 in Dallas. Partly cloudy and 89 in Houston. In the Rockies, it'll be mostly sunny and 91 in Denver. The hot spot again is in Phoenix. They will see sunny skies with a high of 108 there. Mostly sunny skies with a high of 104 in Las Vegas. And down the West Coast, it'll be sunny skies with a high of 102 in Hollywood. And in the Yay area, it will be F, the O, the G. That's right, a whole ton of fog and a high of 66 degrees there. And that is your look on weather for today. And now you've been properly started up. Coming up later, Kendrick Lamar and the Super Bowl. That's happening in February. But should people be outraged that we're not having No Limit or Young Money or Cash Money represent in New Orleans through the Super Bowl? We'll touch on that in our cover story. And in lighting the way, pardon. We love to receive them. We surely do not love to give them. What does God have to say about that? But coming up next, the pardon, 50 years later. What is that? Who are these 2 figures? We will touch on all of that and more. You're watching BS3 Presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson on Roku TV, via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, and yes, on the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. You are listening to it live on the Rewise Radio Network, and we will be right back right after this.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Drew Willingham.
In this case, yeah, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson. Peyton was considered a winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald. With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me. Text. Delete.
Join these two football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central on the Sertoba Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels. Are you looking for something to do on your lunch break? Well, there's a show on the BS3 network that has only 4 words to say to you.
We ready. We ready. We ready for y'all. We ready. We ready.
The Lunch Break, powered by JM&E. Live weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. Well, welcome back to BS3 Presents the Morning Shift for Cole Johnson. Cole Johnson here with you. And I'm glad you're watching. I am glad that you're here seeing me. But if you feel compelled to do more than just watch, but you want to participate, well, that's an easy question to answer. Go to the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. That's the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel, where BS3 Presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson comes to you live every weekday. And when it does, you will be amongst Shift Nation. Oh, you don't believe me? The lifeblood is you, and you're about to see why. My man, the government, going by the Playmaker. Thank you for the updates. He says, good morning, and good morning to you, sir. Ryan McCarthy of No Credentials Acquired fame. He says, good morning. Fellowships, good morning to you. I'm sorry, my bad. You can catch Mr. Silence or Playmaker along with Cool McCain later on the day as they break down TNA, AEW, and WWE action in Monarchs of Wrestling. That comes to you 6:30 Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central. You can catch those two, and they do a wonderful job. You can catch the duo of Mr. McCarthy and Mr. Dustin Henry tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. No credentials required. That's on the No Creds. That's CREDS, REQ YouTube channel. Snowman, he says, good morning, all. Snowman checking in, and we're going to wrap up week 1, and we'll preview tonight's game in Santa Clara between the Jets and the 49ers. I'm sorry, I'm not going to say it. Victor Lucky says, good morning to Shift Nation Worldwide. The supervillain Espresso McCoffee and the super hacker, the Playmaker, my brother Kingpin Snowman, and my friend and mentor, the EP of all EPs, Cole Johnson. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And you see the good greetings being passed along to one another. I love the love. I love the love. I love the love. I love the love. The love is real. The love is real. And Cool McCain, he says, good morning, Shift Nation. Good morning to you, sir. The hardest workout the creator I know is still at it again. And again, catch him later on the Real Play Callers and the Shitty Sports Network YouTube channels. That's where you can catch Monarchs of Wrestling again, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central on those two YouTube channels. Well, you know, we've been thinking about the current landscape of politics. It probably was formed and forged in the mid-'70s. And the reason why I say it in the way that I do is because you had a president that, when you think about how things have gone on as of late, hmm, that person may have had a case study. In today's program Spotlight, we will touch on the pardon that made him eh, less culpable, I guess, for his actions. Now, the guy that I'm alluding to is former President, the late Richard Nixon, and he was in the White House from 1969 to 1974. And many might know, many might not know, he was a member of the Republican Party. He had a system of mistrust. He tapped just about everything that you can think of. And leading up to the 1972 election, the Democratic National Convention was tapped. And of course, you all know the name. It was called Watergate. And so, of course, Nixon denied every single thing, and he gaslit the media, claiming that the media was against him. And of course, they found out that, well, dude had his hand caught in the cookie jar, and he tried to see his way through politically. Unfortunately, Senator Barry Goldwater, one of the most popular, not popular, one of the most powerful senators at the time, he said to Nixon, "Nah, buddy, they want you out the White House." And so when the when the inquiry happened in the House, and it was starting to get underway, and it was smelling as though he could not get out of it, Nixon had to say on August 8th of 1974, "I'm out." 1 month later, that's right, 1 month to the day later, the man who replaced him, Gerald Ford, he decided to pardon the man who sat in his seat prior. And the pardon came with a lot of derision. A lot of people didn't like the fact that Ford pardoned Nixon. They thought that he was off his rocker. They thought he was crazy for thinking of doing such a thing. That this guy, talking about Nixon, he stained the democratic process. You know, he probably forever stained the idea of the presidency, because back when I think we were almost all born, the thought process of the president being a cheerleader of sorts and just simply going against things simply because the other party is going against it, that idea seemed to not be the way it was supposed to go. You know, people actually had belief in the president. Yeah, I know it's shocking. Now, today, it's shocking if you ever see a president have a 50% approval rating. Presidents up until Nixon, their approval ratings were between 50 and upwards of 75% if they were popular, like I don't know, like a Roosevelt, FDR, or a Kennedy. But the Watergate scandal, and then the subsequent pardon by Ford, that seemed to just go. And ever since then, it's been the Democrats on one side, the Republicans on the other, and may the twain shall never meet. And if they do, they shouldn't. But how has the pardon, which has celebrated its anniversary yesterday of the 50-year mark, how has it stained today's politics? Well, Barb McQuaid, a former Obama era federal prosecutor, she's now a law professor at the University of Michigan, she puts it this way, quote, "I think if Richard Nixon had been convicted of a crime, it may have deterred his successors from pushing the limits of legality." Close quote. Sounds eerily familiar to what we're seeing today, right? Now, without the pardon, Nixon would have been put on trial for obstruction of justice, and allegations against him stem from the attempt to cover up, of course, from the Watergate scandal and the dirty tricks operations. Now, Ford questioned whether Nixon could receive a fair trial and feared that a criminal indictment and jury proceedings surrounding an ex-president would inflame and divide large swaths of the country. As it turned out, that prospect was put off for decades until what we witnessed earlier this year with the former President Donald Trump. And unfortunately, Ford's fears, well, it's still inflamed and still divided large swaths of the country. And now, unilateral consent, unilateral support for the president, that is completely out the window. And he's going to have to take a mighty strong personality to get that back. And that concludes today's program Spotlight. Now, if you want to have a James Lipton-esque type of interview, join my man Wiser Leffe and an interviewee of his choosing. Stuck in My Mind podcast that comes to you live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central on the Roku TV via BS3 and the Stuck in My Mind podcast YouTube channel. That is Stuck in My Mind podcast. It comes to you live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central on the Roku TV. Just hit the Roku BS3 button on the Roku TV app, BS3TVLive.com, and the Stuck in My Mind podcast YouTube channel. Coming up next, Kendrick Lamar. Are we going to hear Not Like Us in the Super Bowl for 15 minutes? Some hope it not. Some hope yes. But is there other things we should consider? You're watching BS3 Presents The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson on Roku TV via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, and the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. You're listening to it live on the Real Wise Radio Network, and we shall return right after this.
There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Dog, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure. This is a BS3 Network presentation.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, W-I-Z-E.
Are you in a life holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central. This is a BS3 Network presentation.
So, sit back, tune in, tell a friend. This Dope Cookie Show, we about to get started, and it's about to go down. Check me out.
Join your culinary master of ceremonies, Chef Jeff, as he introduces to you this dope cooking show. every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central.
Well, welcome back to BS Represents the Morning Shift for Cole Johnson. I am Cole Johnson. Yes, I am. And back to Shift Nation, shall we? Ryan McCarthy, this is addressed, of course, to Snowman. He says, regarding tonight's Monday Night Football game, I know what you're going to say, so go ahead and say it. Well, you already know what Snowman's going to say. What I'm going to say is simple. I wish that Ayahuasca sipping, fungus toe picking, Douglas Retreat having space cadet a wonderful evening in Santa Clara. I don't care if he wins or loses. I don't care if he gets injured or not. I just want him to retire now. Now I feel better. All right. Now, from a game that's taking place tonight to the game that's going to take place in middle of February in New Orleans. It looks like Jay-Z decided to pick his halftime show performer, and it is none other than K-Dot. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Kendrick Lamar is going to be the halftime show performer for Super Bowl 59. And I understand why there's a lot of people who are saying, well, wait a minute. Wait. Time out here. Kendrick Lamar? The Super Bowl's in New Orleans? Whoa, wait. Why not have Lil Wayne? Why not have Master P? Why not have No Limit? Why not have Cash Money? Why not have Young Money? Why not have the New Orleans crew represent? What's the deal with that? Well, here's the deal with it. We watched, I don't know what you want to call it, when Lil Wayne performed in WrestleMania back in April. And of course, WrestleMania was in Lincoln Financial Field. So a stadium that could hold almost the same amount of people as the Superdome can. And I get that he was slated to perform a new song, and that for some reason fell through. And so he had to perform a Millie. I don't know if he performed a Millie or if he just went through the motions. But as I said, I think that Jay-Z looked at Lil Wayne. He said, look, you're one styrofoam cup of lean sipping away from you just being asleep on the stage. I don't think I want to have that. I want to have somebody that's going to actually ignite the crowd. And you all could probably say, well, wait a minute, you have Nicki Minaj and you have Drake for the Young Money crew. And then with the Cash Money crew, you have BG and Juvenile and Manny Fresh. I mean, and of course, Birdman. I mean, it all could work out fine, baby. No, I understand it. I fully do understand it from a business standpoint. I understand it. And then there's No Limit. There's Master P. And then there's, there's Silk the Shocker and Mia X. And if they can find Mystical. I get all that. I remember one time, and this goes way back. And this is actually at the height of No Limit, about 1999. And so WCW, yes, the wrestling company, they decided to have No Limit perform. And this was in New Orleans, mind you. The atmosphere, I've seen a more lively atmosphere at a wake, and I'm not joking, than I did that performance. And it was made even worse by a fake country band getting up on stage and actually engendering a loud response, mostly cheers. Look, I get it. The Young Money thing and the Cash Money thing and the No Limit thing, that was huge for me. I mean, that was in my 20s. That was in my young adulthood, and I loved the music for what it was, and I loved the people for what it was. I loved what they represent. However, there's a time and place, and yes, New Orleans you would think would be the time and the place, but for a clientele that, for the most part, would just sit in their hands and not have a clue as to who all these people are, even though they're in New Orleans, because people, I think, forget they're not performing for New Orleanians. They're performing from people that are coming all across the country, if not around the world. People know not like us. If they don't know anything else about Kendrick Lamar, they know that. Heck, they might even know, all right, they might even know he's a Pulitzer Prize winner. I mean, they have an understanding as to who he is. Gen Xers have an understanding, of course, as to who No Limit and Young Money and Cash Money are. That's obvious. But sometimes you got to read the room. And if you have an issue, that one goes straight to Sean Carter. You see, he's in charge of the Super Bowl acts that come on our TV screens every middle of February. So if you have an issue with that, you have an issue with him and his picker. So go to him and say, wait a minute. You're in New Orleans. You got to have a New Orleans flavor to represent. That's something you should tell him. But I'm assuming that in the time of him thinking of it between middle of February of this year and now, no one got in his ear and said that. But I'm sure he jammed out with a wine glass in his hand saying, they're not like us. They're not like us. They're not like us. I'm sure of it. And that's why we're seeing him this February in the Superdome. Coming up, our final thoughts, and we will bid you adieu. You're watching BS3 Presents the Morning Shift for Cole Johnson of Roku TV via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, and the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. You are listening to it live on the Real Ice Radio Network, and we shall return right after this.
The moderator.
As woman, you can't be too friendly because the minute you're friendly, then they think you flirting.
The level head.
I think so that thing is over. So I'm not looking at men like that anymore.
The truth slayer.
Okay, what in the HPV yeast infection is going on over here?
The X Factor.
So I'd rather you tell me everything up front and let's start fresh.
The intersection of life and spirituality never sounded this good. BS3 Network proudly presents Life Happens live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Cool McCain.
You thought you wanted Gunther against Chad Gable, but you didn't. And I'm going to tell you why. Chad Gable would take everything that Gunther's done and bury it.
The Playmaker.
It was on site. AJ Styles walked out there, seen LA Knight. Oh, okay. Then LA Knight hopped out the car. Let's go.
Break down everything in TNA, AEW, and all of the WWE programming. Join these two kings, monarchs of wrestling, live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central on the Play Caller Sports Talk YouTube channel. Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street, y'all done had problems. Maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central.
Well, welcome back to the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson, powered by BS3. And that is all the time we have for this episode. For all of us here at the BS3 Network, the Morning Shift, and Comey Media Incorporated, I am Cole Johnson, here to say imparting as I always do. If you lack commitment, you will never start. If you lack consistency, you'll never finish. And if you lack love, my shifter, most certainly you will never, ever conquer. Go out and preach the gospel to the ends of the earth. That is what we are born to do, shaped to do, and inspired to do. And go and continue to be a blessing to others. Why do I say that you are one? Because you've already been a blessing to me today. And hopefully I, in this short time, have been a blessing to you. Have a great rest of your morning, great rest of your day. And God bless you, Shifter. So long.